Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening to me. Welcome to another episode of Wealth Building Conference. My name is Oludare Fasola. Just like the normal way of welcoming ourselves, wherever you are joining, I want you to please type your name and where you are joining from. If you are joining from Canada, all I need is just to type your name and where you are joining from. And if you know any medical professionals who is actually struggling with unbudgeted costs and running into compliance costs every time, please let them join this amazing webinar. It's going to be fully power packed. It's going to be full of informations, and I promise you that your time they are going to spend here today, you have enough value for your time. Again, we usually have this program twice in a week. On Friday, we talk about insurance advisor or anybody who is in sales that are struggling to scale. We actually show them strategies and how they can actually scale. And on Friday, like on Saturday, we talk about medical professionals. So tonight we're going to be talking about how medical professionals can prevent unbudgeted costs in compliance and in other areas. So because one thing I note is that, of course, tax is one of the number one biggest destroyers of wealth, but there are other areas in which money is actually leaking out without you even take note of that. So I'm going to quickly go ahead tonight to show you how you as a medical professionals can actually prevent all these unbudgeted costs and stay compliant in your practice. All right. So good evening, everyone. And once again, welcome. If you are a physician or dentist or pharmacist or clinic owner, I want to start with a truth most high performing medical professionals quietly live with, right? You can be excellent at medicine and still lose tens of thousands every year to things that have nothing to do with patient care. And I've seen that in many, many occasions, working with many medical professionals across Canada. Not because you are careless, not because you are bad with money, but because modern healthcare runs on rules, deadlines, documentation, system, privacy, payroll, CRA, WSIB, licensing, audit, and compliance. And here's the problem. The biggest financial leak in most practice is not payroll, it's not even the rent, it's not even taxes. It's the silent compliance drain, the unbudgeted cost that show up when if late filing, okay, when you filing your, for example, if you late in filing your taxes, it can actually lead to a very serious fine. A policy is outdated, a private process is inconsistent, a staff member leaves and no one knows the system, an audit or inspections happen and suddenly everything becomes urgent, expensive, and disruptive. And what make it worse is this: most of these costs never show up as a line items you plan for. They show up as a fire drills, and fire drills are always overpriced. So today workshop is about something simple, practical, and extremely profitable: turning compliance from a surprise expense into a control expense. Because when compliance is managed intentionally, it stops being a drain and it becomes a stability tools that protect your cash flow, your time, your team, your reputations, and your long-term retirement plan. Now, quick disclaimer before we dive in. Tonight is not for education. Tonight is for educations and planning, not personal, legal, accounting, or medical advice. Always confirm specific with your licensed professionals based on promise and your situation. Here is what you walk away with today. Number one, by the end of this session, you'll be able to spot the silent leaks that quietly increase your operating cost. Build a simple framework to reduce unbudgeted compliance spending. Create a predictable rhyme so your practice runs on system, not stress. Protect your financial plan with better structure, cleaner records, and fewer emergency invoices. And I want to make this interactive. So in the chat, this is tell me in one sentence, right? What the most frustrating, unexpected cost you've ever you've ever dealt with in your practice in the last 12 months. I want you to please drop it in the comment chat. And all right, let's dive into the practice finance workshop, stopping the silent compliance drains and minimizing unbudgeted cost for medical professionals. Once again, welcome back. I'm going to quickly pull up my slide and we go into the presentations tonight. I want to thank everyone. So once again, we're going to be talking about practice finance, stopping the silent compliance drains and minimize unbudgeted costs for medical professionals. And so let me quickly put up disclaimer again that this is for this training is for educational purpose only, not financial, legal, or tax compliance advice. Consult licensed advisors, accountant, and compliance officers before applying any strategies. All examples are general illustrations. So this is the objective of this workshop. Number one, we want to look at the clear systems, actionable compliant financial framework. We want to also look at how you can stop drains, minimize silence compliance leak, and of course, strengthen profits, long-term efficiency, and profitability. Learn where hidden cost drains thousands, avoid unbudgeted surprises, and use preventive compliance instead of reactive spending. Now, look at this figure. So this is what the silent compliance drain can do to your business. Like, in the course of gathering information data for this webinar, I noticed that some companies have actually shut down because why? They don't pay attention to things that really matter to their, to their clinic, to their business. Like medical professionals and medicals, are businesses, they're highly compliant. So there are so many things that need to be, you have to pay attention to, not taxes alone, not, not not taxes that you only need to pay attention. Compliance is another important area that you need to pay attention. So in small practice, annually, you can lose up to $10,000. And in large practice, annually, you can actually lose up to $150,000. If you look at this number, it might not really make, you might not see it as, very, very significant. Imagine if you are losing $10,000 annually. If you look at that in the next 10, 20 years from now, that's a lot of money. If you channel this money into retirement planning or other investment project, it's going to give you, and you are making probably about 8 to 10% rate of return. That's huge amount of money. So pay attention to this webinar and understand how you can stop this leak and channel all those unbudgeted costs to something that is going to be profitable, that will bring more value to your business, to your life. So these are the common drains. Okay. Number one, mixed renewals. For example, every year there are some things that you need to renew: your license, your errors and omissions, and all of that. Once you miss that, it can cost you thousands of dollars in penalty, right? Again, staff onboarding errors. If you have a staff onboarding error, it can also lead to a common drains. Outdated insurance. This is very, very important. Cybersecurity insurance, professional liability insurance. These are some of the areas that your practice can experience serious drains. Again, CRA penalty. This is very, very, very common. Like, you feel it is not important. Of course, you may feel, oh, I'm going to file it when I have the time. But what about the penalty, the charges, the interest that is going to be accrued every month? It's a lot of money. So you need to pay attention to that. Mismanaged documentation. This is very, very common. Now, the more you are very detailed about your documentation, the more it's very easier for you to prevent all this compliance drill, because it actually starts with how do you document your practice? How do you do your filing? It's very, very important. It starts from little things that you don't pay attention to. So these costs don't screams. They don't screams at all. They whisper, they destroy profit quietly. And when you look at it, right, $10,000 to for a small practice, if you look at it every year, it's a lot of money, right? Why medical practice are uniquely at risk. This is why you are at risk. Number one, heavy regulation, right? Consistent policy update and complex requirement. Your clinic must meet up with the provincial regulations as well as the the countrywide regulation. So it is highly, highly regulated. Whatever promises you are practicing, how do you really make sure that you align and you follow all the policies and procedures of the medical practices? Now, number two, high volumes, patient volumes lead to systems error. So the more volumes of patients you admit to take, the more you are prone to risk. Like, for example, privacy risk, billing, invoicing, all of this is very, very important. What smart doctors do, they outsource all this kind of task to people that can handle, so that they can focus on something that is very, very important to their practice, right? Reactive culture, fix problem when they appear. So some of you actually wait until that problem occurs. You don't need to wait, right? So when you are doing your audit annually, you are doing your random checkup every time, right? It will make you to prevent a lot of problems that would have cost you thousands of dollars. Liability exposure, expensive mistake from professional risk. For example, if you fail to renew your error annotation as at when due, it might cost you thousands of dollars. It might lead to serious compliance issues. Your practice it's not unsafe, but your system are. It's not as if your practice is not safe, but if your system is faulty, it can actually put your medical practice at risk. So we're going to look at 5 strategies to prevent this leak, to prevent these compliance drains. Number one, build a compliance command center. Centralize everything. Okay, so single system for licensing, certifications, insurance, CRAs, deadlines, and regulatory updates. So when you have a centralized system that look into all of this, it makes your job much easier. It put everything on spot for you. It makes you to understand that, oh, every year once I check, I make sure that all the things that need to be renewed, all the licenses that need to be renewed, filings, my tax filings, reporting my financial reports, submission of my errors and omission, you understand that these are the things that I need to do. So when you centralize it, two, track renewals, medical record retention, privacy compliance, Personal Health Information Protection Act, which is PHIPA, and auditory. So, there are areas in which you can be, you can violate privacy of your client. So if you track your renewals regularly, it will prevent all of these problems for you, right? So put up a strategies in place that make sure that you track your renewal and know when and how to renew your licensing or whatever things you need to be renewed. Use tools. So we have a lot of tools. There are cloud-based tools for medical professionals. So we have Juvono, Jane apps, Sembo, compliance software, shared digital calendar. These are very good, powerful tools that will help you to prevent these compliance drains. Like I would recommend, look, in this era that we find that things are, they are working very, very, very fast, right? You need to use tools, leverage on tools. Don't do things manually. The more you try to, manage things manually, the more you mix out on some renewals, deadlines and all of that. So 80% errors, this will actually prevent your practice 80%. There is chances that if you put all these strategies in place, you have 80%, prevention error. All right. Number two, predictable cost budgeting. Like, so what you don't budget for, chances that it's going to be draining your finances. So there, you should have a 12-month budget for insurance renewals. Like, for example, how many, how many every month you renew your insurance and all of that. So put up a budget, 20,000, $5,000, $1,000, $2,000 per annum or per month. Put up, set it aside so that you don't need to wait, or you don't need to be struggling when it's time for you to renew. Legal reviews, there must be a budget for that, right? So there are areas that you need to call people to come and check at what are the legal documents that you need to put in place in case anything happens. Equipment inspections, you must make sure that your equipment are up to date. They are not outdated, right? You are dealing with human life, so you must make sure that all the equipment must meet up with the current standard of medical practice. College membership fees, you must make sure that all the membership associations, all the professionals body you belong to, both here and outside the country, you must make sure that you have budget for that. CRA compliance filings. Sometimes you might file your tax regularly, you might do everything, but sometimes you might also run into audit that they have to check what you have been, filing, what you have been, putting in papers, all the documents you've been submitting. You also need to put up budget for that. It can happen at any, and once CRA audit you, there's no way you will not pay, even if it is $1, $2. You're going to pay for that. So you have to make sure that you have budget for all of that. So this is the golden rule. If it repeats annually, budget it. If it's predictable, it's not an emergency. Because some of you feel, but audit, it's emergency. It's not emergency. If you know that at least you are filing your tax every year, you can be audited at any time. So is it not important for you to budget for it? Like, if I'm audited, this is X amount of money that's going to go into that. At least that will help me. That will save me from, running into unnecessary cost. Number three, strategy three, automate before you delegate. Before you delegate anything to anybody, make sure you understand the process, you understand the procedure. So reminders, automate this, reminders and renewals. Make sure you have a system. If you use, for example, Juvono, for example, it will help you to put all these things in place, right? It will remind you that, your professional liability insurance is going to expire at so day. So this is time for you to renew. All right. So it's not like, when it is time for you to renew and you now begin to rush. No, when you automate this, right, it will give you reminders. CRA filing deadlines, you must have, you must automate that. Like, if your year end is, for example, December of every year, put up a reminder, right? Don't wait until your accountant call you. You call your accountant, hey, so now that we are going to the end of the year, by so periods, I want to start, preparing my books of accounts. I want to file my tax. I want to prepare my books. What do I need to do? Don't wait until the time is near and you begin to rush and you now fail to meet up the deadline. It will also, these are all the little things. It costs you money. So stop the drain. Stop the compliance drain. Again, record retention alert. See, you are dealing with human beings. It is important for you to make sure that all the records are up to date, right? So because regulators can come and check all your records, make sure that everything is properly in place so that when they come, you don't need to struggle or running up and down to provide the records. So again, staff onboarding training, you must have those ones automated. If a client, if you hire a new medical professionals, or maybe lab attendant, or whatever that you are working with, there must be some trainings that is automated on the system. Go and watch this. This is how to, this is what we do here. It will make your job much easier, instead of you to wait until they come in and you now begin to sit down one on one and begin to walk them through the process. Automate it, record it on the system. Once they come in, on so day, you're going to receive a mail. This is going to be the first training you're going to do. This is second training, and all of that. It will make things, it will put your job on a very good way, so that you not run into compliance issue. Consent form compliance. So there are consent forms that you need to have in place. For example, a client consent to disclose information. All of these can be automated. So once the clients come to you, once you finish, before you actually do anything, send it to them. This is consent for privacy. Please help me to sign it, and get back to me. So the person sign it, you receive it, you document it, you go to the where it's supposed to go to. All these things is going to reduce, it will make you to be much more efficiency. Now, this is the benefit. It remove human error. So when you automate things, it actually reduce human error. Provide audit trace. So it's going to show you how, if they want to audit, sometimes a client can say, oh, I didn't sign this. Oh, wow, you didn't sign this. Okay, don't worry. Let's look at the system. The same will show when the document was signed to the client, when he signed, the time he signed, and all of that. It actually, make sure, it will show the audit trail. It reduces staff workload. Instead of you to hire people that will help you to do all of this, once you automate it, it will reduce workload. And of course, it will also reduce overhead expenses, which lead to more profit. Save $20,000 annually. I remember one of our clients in Mississauga that we actually work with, the CPA. We put all of this in place, and sincerely speaking, he said, look, last year I was able to save $20,000 or more in compliance and on budgeted costs, because some of these things, they don't really look into it. But when we sit down and we do a flow charting of what we did, and at the end of the year, we audit everything and say, look, this is how much you save on this. It makes him to say, oh, wow, I need to be doing this every year. So automation fix compliance gap faster than human monitoring. Strategy 4, audit your practice twice a year. At least every year, you must audit your practice. This is what is going to, like, for example, you must do financial compliance, right? Financial compliance, like, what are the different financial report you need to keep in place? Your financial report, like your balance sheet, your statement of cash flows, your profit and loss account. All of these must be in place, right? Your financial, plan. Everything must be in total, especially when it comes to, financial regulation. So HR and payroll, you must make sure that you do audit of your payroll. Are you remitting what you're supposed to remit to CRA? Are you doing everything in accordance with the policies and procedures of the government of the country? It's very important, right? It will help you to reduce all of this problem. Asset protection, or no, asset protection, your car that you're using for the company, lands and building, computer and all of that. All these things are very, very important. But these ones are, um, non-human asset. But what about the human asset? Like people that you are working with, you also need to make sure that you protect them. You have proper protection in place. Like, for example, if you hire a key, strategist or key specialist, like maybe a surgeon or a dentist that is working, that that the source of your income actually dependent on that person, it is very important for you to protect that kind of a person. Like, for example, you can put up a key person insurance in case you lose that person. You can use that particular money to hire a new person. All this is very, very important when you are doing your audit. Like, so as you are doing your non-human audit, you also need to do human audit, and to know that everything is actually well protected. Clinical documentation, you must make sure that all your document as regard to clinical practices is well documented. Is very important. If the council comes, they don't want to listen to you and say, hey, because I'm busy, I've not been able to document all my papers, all my things. They won't listen to that. So you must make sure that you document everything. Billing accuracy. Now, when you submit all these things to appropriate quarter, make sure that everything is well accurate, because they can come back and verify. So if they verify it and they notice that you are submitting the disparate invoices, it might lead to integrity issues. It might lead to serious problems that actually cost you thousands in dollars. Patience, privacy. You must make sure that privacy in this country is very, very important. Make sure that everything that has to do with privacy compliance, make sure you adhere strictly to that. Because if you violate anybody's privacy, they sue you, it can actually consume your practice. So all this thing is very, very, like, it's way, way more, it can kill your practice very quickly than taxes. Imagine if a client sue you for breach of privacy, for breach of information, it can actually consume the whole price. So please pay attention to all these things. It's very, very important. This will reduce cost elimination by 80%, right? Again, strategy 5, insurance optimization, right? So you have to review professional liability, right? Make sure that regarding your corporation, you make sure you review your professional. You also look at cyber insurance. Hackers are on the runs everywhere. They can intrude your clinic, and they can hack client information, and they can use that against you. So you want to make sure that your cyber insurance is very, very intact, up to date. Is very, very important. Business interruption insurance, business overhead insurance. These are some of the things that you can put in place in such a way that if anything happens, your practice will continue to grow. What about the personal protection? Key person insurance. You must make sure that you have an adequate key person insurance in case you miss one client, like you miss key staff. For example, key staff can actually lead to losing of serious income. So you want to make sure you protect that. Corporate owned life insurance is very important, that you have a corporate life insurance on your company. The corporate life insurance is going to be it's your insurance that protects you, but it's going to be set up on a corporation. So it's very, very important. Disability and critical illness. This is very, very important. Like, the most important asset that you need to protect is yourself. Because why? If you don't go to clinic, you can't make money. So very key. Please have enough disability and critical illness insurance in place, so that if anything happens, you have enough money, to play around with, just so that you don't, your practice don't suffer for that. All right, let's quickly look at the summaries and conclusions of this presentation. So we have been able to identify the silent drains that it compliance cost trainings, thousands of dollars annually. Compliance cost trainings, thousands of dollars annually. So we also discussed about how you can build predictable systems, at least 12-month budget for recurring costs. There's some costs that are recurring, so make sure you build up, cost for that. You need to automate your process so that it will remove human errors and save you thousands of dollars on annual basis. Conduct biannual audit at least twice in a year. Make sure you conduct audit. It will eliminate 80% of your hidden costs. And of course, optimize insurance, strengthen financial protection, both your corporations and yourself. Make sure you insure that. All right. Compliance is not a cost, it's a strategy. The more predictable your practice, the more profitable it becomes. So thank you so much for joining today's amazing presentation. I want to thank everyone that has joined. If you have any question here, you can actually put it on the comment chat so that we can quickly look into it. If you have any question, put it on the comment chat so that we can look into it. For those of you who have joined, I really want to appreciate you for joining. Next week, we're going to have another session on Friday. We'll be meeting to discuss about how insurance professionals, sales agents, particularly insurance agents, financial advisor, mortgage advisor, real estate agent can scale. Strategies for them to scale. And of course, we're going to also talk about medical professionals on Friday in order for them to, how to build wealth, how to prevent their services from all these compliance drains, how they can also save on taxes is very, very important. As I said earlier, and I used to repeat it in our program, that, no matter how much you make, if you don't know how to save your money from taxes, you can't build wealth. And that's very, very key. All right. So I want to thank everyone for joining today. If you have any question, please, I want you to drop it on the comment chat. Any question? Awesome. Right. No question. So thank you so much for joining. See you next week for another amazing program. Enjoy your weekend. Bye for now.